Welcome to LexTalks, Legal Topics Simplified, your companion for exploring the fascinating world of law.
And today we're diving deep into a subject that's not just a textbook chapter for you law students in India. It's the beating heart of your future legal careers. The Indian Parliament.
Okay, you got me.
Why should a law student care so much about Parliament?
I thought that was more for, politicians.
Think of it this way. Parliament is where the laws you'll be studying, arguing with, and upholding actually come from.
Huh.
It's like peeking behind the curtain to see how the sausage gets made, legally speaking.
So it's not just about memorizing articles and clauses.
Right.
There's a whole drama unfolding behind the scenes.
Exactly. And understanding that drama is what separates a good lawyer from a great one. Because the way a law is made, the debate surrounding it, even the political climate at the time, it all influences how that law is interpreted and applied in court.
So you're saying knowing the backstory of a law gives you an edge.
Yes.
That's actually pretty cool.
It is.
But the Parliament seems so complex. Yeah. Where do we even begin?
Well, the Indian Parliament isn't a single entity.
Right.
It's a dynamic trio. The President, the Rajya Sabha, and the Lok Sabha. You could say it's like a three-legged stool, each leg essential for stability.
Wait, so the president's involved too? I thought they were more of a figurehead.
Not at all. While the president isn't a member of parliament, they have a crucial role in approving or rejecting bills passed by the two houses.
Oh.
Think of it as a final safeguard to ensure laws align with the Constitution.
So they're like the ultimate referee, making sure everyone plays by the rules.
Precisely. Then we have the Rajya Sabha, the Council of States, where members are elected by state legislatures.
Okay.
It's designed to give a voice to states' interests in the national lawmaking process.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
India is so diverse, each state must have its own concerns.
Exactly. And finally, there's the Lok Sabha, the House of the People, where members are directly elected by the people.
Okay.
It reflects the will of the nation and holds the government accountable.
Okay. I'm starting to see the big picture here.
Good.
3 different players, each with a unique role to play.
Yes.
But let's zoom in a bit.
Okay.
Tell me more about this Rajya Sabha.
Sure.
What makes it so special?
Well, the Rajya Sabha is known as the permanent house because it never dissolves.
Huh. Interesting.
Members serve for 6 years, with 1/3 retiring every 2 years.
Okay.
It's like a rolling election, ensuring continuity and a long-term perspective.
So it's like a wise elder providing stability while still adapting to new ideas.
Exactly. And this structure has some interesting implications.
Like what?
For example, in 1988, the Rajya Sabha played a key role in stalling the defamation bill, which many saw as an attempt to curb freedom of speech.
Really?
Yes. The bill was eventually withdrawn thanks in part to the Rajya Sabha's resistance.
Wow, so the Rajya Sabha can really stand its ground when it comes to protecting fundamental rights.
Absolutely.
That's pretty powerful.
It is, and that's why understanding the nuances of each house is so crucial. Now, getting elected to parliament is just the beginning. Did you know there are grounds for disqualification even after you've won a seat?
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
I thought once you're in, you're in.
Not so fast. Parliamentarians hold immense power and influence.
True.
So the rules are stringent to maintain ethical and legal standards.
Okay.
Holding an office of profit, being declared unsound of mind, or even failing to file election expenses correctly can lead to disqualification.
So it's not just about winning the election, it's about staying clean throughout your term.
Right.
I guess that makes sense considering the high stakes involved.
Absolutely. And it highlights the importance of accountability and transparency in the political process.
Oh, sure.
Now let's shift gears for a moment and talk about money.
Okay.
Where does all the funding for government schemes and projects come from?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I've always wondered how they decide who gets what.
Well, it all starts with the budget, which is presented to the parliament each year. This document outlines the government's proposed expenditures and how they plan to raise the funds.
Right.
The parliament then gets to scrutinize and approve this budget.
So it's not just the government calling the shots.
No.
Parliament has a say in how the money's spent.
Exactly. It's a complex dance between the government proposing spending and the parliament ensuring accountability. There are debates, discussions, and even amendments proposed to ensure that public funds are used wisely and effectively.
That's reassuring to know.
It is.
I always thought the budget was just something the government decided on their own.
Not at all. Parliament plays a critical role in ensuring transparency and preventing wasteful spending.
Okay, good.
But hold on, the parliament's role doesn't end there.
Really?
It's not just about passing laws and scrutinizing the budget.
Oh,
It also has a key role in overseeing the administration and holding the government accountable for its actions.
okay. So it's like a watchdog, making sure the government stays in line.
You could say that. Through question-hour debates in various parliamentary committees, the parliament keeps a close eye on the government questioning its decisions and demanding accountability.
That sounds pretty intense.
It can be.
So Parliament wears many hats:
Yeah,
lawmaker, budget supervisor, and government watchdog.
exactly. It's a multifaceted institution with a wide range of powers and responsibilities.
Wow.
And understanding these complexities is crucial for any law student who wants to navigate the Indian legal system effectively.
Okay.
Right?
Got.
Yeah. Welcome back to LexTalks, where we're continuing our exploration of the Indian Parliament, a journey that's crucial for any law student who wants to truly grasp the soul of the Indian legal system.
You know, in part one, we talked about the Parliament's overall structure and powers. It's like we were looking at a map from a distance.
Right.
Now let's zoom in and explore the two houses that make this whole system work: the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha.
A great analogy. And let's begin with the Rajya Sabha, often called the Council of States. Its members are elected indirectly by the members of state legislative assemblies.
So it's not us regular folks voting for them directly.
That's right. Think of it as a way to ensure that states' interests are represented at the national level.
Okay.
The Rajya Sabha acts as a balance against the Lok Sabha, which is directly elected by the people.
Ah, so it prevents the central government from steamrolling over state concerns.
Yeah,
That makes sense given India's diverse nature.
precisely. And this unique structure gives the Rajya Sabha some fascinating powers.
Such as?
For instance, it can authorize Parliament to make laws on subjects that are usually reserved for the states.
So there's a bit of flexibility built in, especially for matters of national importance where a unified approach is needed.
Exactly. Now, remember how we talked about the Parliament's role in holding the government accountable? Well, the Rajya Sabha plays a big part in that, too.
You mean through question hour and debates?
Yes.
I thought those were more Lok Sabha things.
Not at all. Members of the Rajya Sabha have the same rights and privileges as those in the Lok Sabha when it comes to questioning ministers and participating in debates.
Wow, so it's like a double layer of scrutiny the government has to answer to both houses.
Exactly. And don't forget, the Rajya Sabha's own set of specialized committees diligently examining bills, conducting investigations, and providing oversight on various matters.
Committees everywhere. It seems like they're the backbone of this whole system.
They really are. They provide a platform for in-depth analysis and scrutiny, ensuring laws and policies are thoroughly examined before they see the light of day.
Okay.
Now let's shift our focus to the Lok Sabha, the House of the People, where the pulse of the nation beats the loudest.
Ah, this is where we, the people, get our direct say.
Yeah.
It's all about representing the will of the nation.
Absolutely. And the Lok Sabha takes the lead when it comes to lawmaking and financial matters.
Okay.
Most bills originate there, and it has the exclusive power to introduce money bills, which deal with things like taxation and government spending.
Makes sense. Money matters should be closely tied to the people's representatives.
Precisely. And it goes beyond just making laws.
Oh.
The Lok Sabha plays a crucial role in forming the government.
Oh, so.
The political party or coalition that wins a majority of seats in the Lok Sabha gets to form the government, and their leader becomes the prime minister.
So it's not just about passing laws. It's about shaping the executive branch and setting the nation's direction. That's a lot of power.
Indeed. The Lok Sabha is truly the epicenter of political power in India. This is where major decisions are debated. Policies are scrutinized, and the fate of the government is often determined.
Speaking of fate, remember the vote of no confidence we discussed earlier?
Yes.
That's a pretty big hammer the Lok Sabha can wield.
It is. It highlights the core principle of accountability in a parliamentary democracy. The government ultimately answers to the elected representatives of the people.
Okay, so we've seen how the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha each have their own distinct roles and powers, but do they always get along? It seems like there's potential for some serious clashes.
You're right. It's not always a harmonious relationship.
Right.
Sometimes the two houses disagree on a particular bill, leading to a legislative deadlock.
Oh.
These situations can really test the parliamentary system's strength and its capacity for resolving conflicts through dialogue and compromise.
So what happens when there's a deadlock? Is it just a stalemate, or is there a way to break the impasse?
Thankfully, the Constitution provides a mechanism, a joint sitting of both houses.
Ah, so they bring everyone together and try to hammer out a solution through discussion and consensus.
Exactly. However, joint sittings are relatively rare and are usually reserved for bills of significant national importance.
So it's like a last resort to prevent the legislative process from getting completely bogged down.
Precisely. You see, the relationship between the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha is complex, full of cooperation and tension.
Okay.
It reflects the dynamic and sometimes messy nature of Indian democracy, where diverse interests and perspectives often clash.
But at the end of the day, the aim is to find common ground and pass laws that truly benefit the nation. It's a fascinating dance to watch, that's for sure.
It is. No, before we move on, I want to circle back to those parliamentary committees we've mentioned a
Yeah.
few times.
Yes.
They deserve a closer look.
I'm really curious about these committees.
Okay.
They seem to be working behind the scenes, diligently shaping the finer points of laws and policies.
Exactly. Think of them as the engine room of the parliament, comprising members from both houses.
Okay.
These committees play a critical role in scrutinizing bills, conducting in-depth investigations, and providing oversight on a wide range of matters.
So it's not just about speeches and grand debates in the main chambers.
No.
A lot of the real work happens in these committees.
Absolutely. These committees provide a space for focused discussions, consultations with experts, and fine-tuning of legislative language. They ensure that laws are not only well drafted, but also feasible, and address the concerns of various stakeholders.
So it's like each bill goes through a rigorous quality check before it becomes law.
Precisely. And there are different types of committees, each with its own area of expertise.
Oh, wait.
Some focus on specific subjects, like finance or defense, while others are formed for particular purposes, like investigating a specific issue.
It sounds incredibly organized and thorough. I'm starting to see why these committees are considered the unsung heroes of the legislative process.
They truly are. Their work is essential for the smooth functioning of the parliament and for ensuring that laws are made with due diligence and consideration.
You know, this deep dive into the Rajya Sabha, the Lok Sabha, and these parliamentary committees has been truly insightful. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, revealing the intricate workings of this vital institution.
And it highlights the dynamism and complexity of the Indian parliament, a testament to the spirit of Indian democracy.
As law students, understanding these intricacies is not just about gaining knowledge, it's about gaining a deeper understanding of the very foundations of the Indian legal system.
Exactly. The parliament is not some distant entity. It shapes the laws that govern your lives and the legal principles you will be upholding throughout your careers. So stay curious, stay informed, and remember, the parliament is a living, breathing entity constantly evolving to meet the challenges of a changing nation.
Welcome back to LexTalks. We've journeyed through the halls of the Rajya Sabha, and the Lok Sabha even peeked into the engine rooms of those powerful committees.
And now in this final part of our deep dive, we turn our attention to the President of India.
Ah, yes, the president.
Hmm.
We've mentioned them a few times, but their role in all of this parliamentary action has remained a bit of a mystery.
Well, consider this. The president is like the guardian of the Constitution, watching over the entire parliamentary process with a keen eye.
So they're not just a figurehead. They actually have real power when it comes to laws.
Absolutely. They're a vital check on the legislature, ensuring that every law passed by Parliament aligns with the principles enshrined in our Constitution.
So it's like having a wise elder overseeing the process, making sure everyone stays true to the spirit of the law.
Precisely. For instance, the president has the power to summon and prorogue Parliament, setting the dates for sessions and marking their conclusion.
So they control the parliamentary calendar, deciding when the houses meet and when they take a break.
Yes.
That's pretty important.
It is, and their powers don't stop there. They can even dissolve the Lok Sabha, triggering fresh elections.
Wow, that's a big one. They can essentially reset the entire political landscape.
Exactly, but perhaps the most crucial role of the president lies in their power to grant or withhold assent to bills passed by Parliament.
It's like the final hurdle a bill has to clear before it becomes law. The president's signature is the ultimate stamp of approval.
Exactly. They can either approve the bill, making it a law, or send it back to Parliament for reconsideration.
So it's not just a rubber stamp.
Right.
The president can actually push back if they have concerns.
Absolutely. And this isn't just a formality. The president can return a bill to Parliament if they believe it violates the Constitution or infringes upon fundamental rights.
It's like a safety valve, ensuring that laws are consistent with the core values of our democracy. It's pretty reassuring.
It is. And this interplay of powers between the president and the Parliament showcases the delicate balance at the heart of our system of government.
It's all about checks and balances. preventing any one branch from having absolute power and ensuring that the nation's interests always come first.
Precisely now, having explored the president's role, let's step back and trace the fascinating journey of the Indian Parliament itself.
You know, it's amazing to think about how this institution has evolved from its roots in the colonial era to becoming the cornerstone of the world's largest democracy.
Indeed, the seeds of the Indian Parliament were sown during the British Raj with the establishment of legislative councils to advise the viceroy.
So even back then, there was a semblance of a legislative body.
Yes, but those early councils had limited powers and representation. They were more advisory in nature.
It was a far cry from the robust parliament we have today.
Indeed, the journey towards a truly representative parliament began with the Government of India Act of 1919, which introduced limited self-governance and expanded the legislative councils.
So it was a gradual process, with each step bringing us closer to a more democratic system.
Exactly. Then came the Government of India Act of 1935, a pivotal moment that established a bicameral legislature at the center consisting of a federal assembly and a council of state.
That structure, with two houses representing different interests, laid the groundwork for the parliament we know today.
Precisely. And when India gained independence in 1947, the Constituent Assembly was tasked with drafting a constitution, which ultimately led to the creation of the parliament as we know it.
So the Constitution of 1950 officially brought the parliament into being, solidifying its role as the supreme legislative body.
Exactly. And the first general elections held in 1952 marked the beginning of a new era in Indian democracy.
Since then, the Indian parliament has weathered many storms and celebrated numerous triumphs.
It has played a central role in shaping the nation's destiny, enacting landmark legislation, and upholding the values of democracy.
From the abolition of untouchability to the introduction of economic reforms, the parliament has been at the forefront of social and political change.
And while it has faced its share of challenges and even periods of crisis like the emergency imposed in 1975, it has always emerged as a resilient institution.
It's a testament to the spirit of India, its commitment to dialogue, debate, and the pursuit of justice and equality.
Well said, the journey of the Indian Parliament is a testament to the enduring power of democracy.
You know, this deep dive into the Indian Parliament has been an incredible journey. We have explored its structure, powers, mechanisms for accountability, and its rich history.
And for you, our aspiring legal minds, understanding the Parliament is more than just an academic exercise.
It's about comprehending the very foundation of our legal system, the source from which laws emerge, and the stage upon which our democracy unfolds.
As you delve deeper into your legal studies, remember this. The Indian Parliament is a living testament to the power of democracy, its ability to represent diverse voices, to engage in robust debate and deliberation, and ultimately to shape the destiny of a nation. It's been a privilege to explore this vital institution with you on LexTalks.
Thank you for listening to LexTalks. Follow, subscribe, and stay notified to never miss an episode.